Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a mock budget. I haven't done one of these in forever, and we're just going to say that it's for September. This is going to be a budget for someone who is making around $1,500 per month. I had a request for this a while back. I am using one of my old deluxe monthlies, so that's kind of why you see this set up here. If you're interested in the new deluxe monthly or any of the like sticker sheets and stuff that I use in this little mock budget, I have links down below. Make sure to check them out. One of them would give you $10 off your first purchase, and it gives me $10, which I can use for Erin Condren, which helps me bring videos like this for you guys. So like I said, this video is going to be someone making $1,500 per month. And the nice thing about this and this request is that I can actually kind of relate to this. When I was working part-time in college through my internship, I made roughly $1,500 per month, and I thought I could use some of my numbers to base off of, you know, what it was kind of like. So it's gonna be a pretty real budget for what I used to pay during college. I'm not gonna include tuition or anything like that because, you know, making $1,500 per month and paying tuition would be really hard. I personally got student loans and paid them off whenever I was able to. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it. So for me, the only income that I had while in college was my my internship. So let's go ahead and put income. And I actually worked out, you know, I was an hourly employee because I was an intern, and so sometimes it would vary. So let's see, let's do income type and then do estimated. Actual, and then over and under. Some months, if I worked more, like let's say during the summer, if I worked more during the summer, then I could make more. Let's say I got sick or had a lot of schoolwork and I could not work more, then of course my income was less. But let's just say for this example, we're just doing the budget. We're not going to deal with actual and under. I think actual and under, or actual and whether you're over and under, is a huge part of a budget, but I don't have real activity to show you guys, so I'm just gonna put those in and just for the budget purpose. So like I said, my income type was just my internship, so I'm just gonna put internship. And I'm going to estimate $1,500. And then we are just going to leave it like that and put a little washi strip in to kind of separate the income from our expenses. And I will show you guys in a second how I kind of got to the $1,500, because when I was thinking about doing this video, I'm like, I wonder how much I made during my internship and while in college, just to get a good idea. And I gotta set this all up, otherwise it bothers me. Okay, so it's all good. So to show you guys how I got to that number. So I made roughly, I made $18 per hour at my first internship, and I worked about 20 hours a week. So that's $360 every week, and let's say there's 4 weeks. So right around $1,500. I think I normally worked more like 25 hours a week, but like I said, sometimes it would vary. So that's kind of how I got to it. Obviously you could work full-time and make $1,500 a month. It just really depends on how much you're getting paid per hour and all of that. So that's what we have to work with. Now we're gonna get into some of our expenses. So I'm just going to go ahead and write in expenses. And then we're gonna do budget. Actual and over and under. So like I said, this is actually pretty representative of what I was working with in college. So a lot of people have asked, like, how are you able to save so much money? How are you able to pay off your student loans? How are you able to pay for your wedding without getting into debt? Well, with student loans, I obviously got into debt, but how are you able to pay it off? And this is kind of how. So I'm going to show you like what it looked like. And obviously if you have savings like this and you have like an internship throughout your entire college career, then maybe you don't necessarily need to get student loans. But for me, I got this internship the end of my sophomore year, so it wasn't like a full thing, and I didn't know how long it was gonna last either. Okay, so the first thing that I had was my rent. And in college, I stayed in the dorm for a while, but then after the dorm, I actually got a studio apartment. And that was like seriously perfect for me because I don't like living with other people, especially people that I don't know. I don't like sharing bathrooms and stuff like that. So I really loved my studio. That was perfect. And that was $450 a month. So it was a great price, especially in my area, because a lot of people paid like $700 to room with other people per month. So that was really nice. The only utilities I really had to pay were my electric, and my electric was around $50 per month. And I had cable and internet. And that was roughly $75 per month. I think I had like a very basic cable thing. I think the majority of it was the internet that was so expensive, and I had to have that because a lot of my accounting homework was online. So I had that, and then the water and all the other utilities were included, so that was really nice. It was a really low amount. I think, yeah, a lot of it was included in the $450, so it was even less. And I think your rent could technically be $25 less if you paid like a couple days in advance or something. So the actual housing expenses were pretty low. At this point, I did not have a car. Jason had a car, so we would go together. He paid for gas, he paid for insurance. I had a bike, so I would sometimes bike to school. There was also like a bus system that was free for students, so I never had to pay for any type of car insurance, gas, or car payments or anything like that. All of that stuff I just didn't want to deal with while in college, which was really nice because that definitely opened it up so that I wouldn't have to, you know, pay a ton of money out. The next thing that I have would be groceries, and you guys are going to be shocked by this number because this is not representative of a normal situation at all. But I legit had $100 for groceries every month. And my groceries at this point in my life, I really didn't have a budget. I had an idea of how much I wanted to spend for certain categories, but I did not I did not have cash out for eating out. I did not have cash out for groceries. I would just go buy the things that I needed. I tried not to get anything excessive, and it always came out to be like $20 to $25 per week. Now keep in mind, a lot of times me and Jason would go together, and Jason would pick up stuff to have at my apartment so that when we would cook together or whatever, there would be stuff. So the $100 was really just for me because he would buy his own stuff that he would bring over to my apartment for when he was there. For eating out, during this time, I was obviously in college and I was working a lot. So, so I was eating out quite a bit, and I think that's completely okay when you're busy and when you just need something quick for lunch. I did not have a meal plan, so that also added kind of to it, but my eating out budget was about the same amount as my groceries at $100. So not too bad, and it probably varied a little bit. I might be over some months, I might be under some months, but $200 per month for everything food related, I feel like it's not too bad. Jason and I really did not go out to fancy dinners until probably after college. We would just grab little snacks here and there. I think I had a lot of sandwiches from like sandwich shops at college, just because that was a lot of what was there. There was a lot of Subways on campus. So eating out. I was also like kind of stocking up on my clothes, like work clothes. So I did have, every month or so I would buy some new work clothes, and usually that would be around $50. I was really just trying to build up my wardrobe and get, you know, some more dress up clothes for my internship. I was working like three to 4 days a week, I believe it was, and so I would need to have a few different outfits. I think when I first got my internship, I stocked up on a lot of things. I probably spent like $100, $200 on clothes, and then from there I just tried to keep building so that I would have a good, you know, a good wardrobe. So clothes, what else did we have? Okay, so another thing that I had was like household items. Obviously, since I had my own apartment studio type of thing, I needed shampoo, I needed conditioner, I needed paper towels, toilet paper, stuff like that. And that all probably came out to be about $50 per month as well. Some months I'm sure were a little bit more expensive, some were less. I did have the cutest little, it was seriously a mini dishwasher, and it could probably fit like one meal's worth of dishes in it. It was hilarious. Whenever me and Jason would cook dinner together, it was like the most hilarious thing ever. So obviously with this type of budget, since I was in college and I'm not working with a ton of money here, I purposely tried not to spend very much money. I did not have sinking funds. Like I said, anything that I did not spend, I would put right into my savings account. And at this point, I knew that like me and Jason were probably gonna get married at some point. So I was trying to save up for that because I knew we wouldn't have a ton of help. I also knew that like when I was out of school, I would need to get my own apartment, or me and Jason would need an apartment. So I was trying to save as much as I could. But I always did have a little bit of spending money. And this would be for like going to the movies or doing anything fun, like go-karts, stuff like that. When me and Jason were in college, we used to hang out with my uncle Frankie, and we would take him places almost every weekend. We would go back home, take him out to the movies, because that was like one of his favorite things to do. My uncle was kind of limited in certain aspects, and so he really loved going to the movies. He really loved hanging out with me and Jason, and so we purposely tried to like, you know, make time for him and spend time with him. He actually passed away right after mine and Jason's wedding, which is really disappointing because we were really hoping for him to stay with us and to do really fun stuff with him, because in college we were kind of limited to that. But we always used to take him out, and so that was definitely something that I wanted to include in my budget. And we usually spent, like I personally probably spent around $100. Jason probably spent some money, and I think my Uncle Frankie would bring some money as well. So those are all the expenses that I normally had. Like I said, my health insurance was included through the school. I didn't really have anything like besides that. I didn't have car insurance. I did not have like any car expenses to worry about. I have my rent, my electric, my cable and internet, my groceries, eating out, clothes, household, and spending, and that was about it. And then everything else would just kind of go into my savings. So I'm gonna go ahead and put total expenses. And add everything up. So we have 450, 50, 50, 75, 100, 100, 50, 50, and 100. So that comes out to $975. And then my total potential savings would be $5.25. So for someone who's in school, who, you know, is working part-time, that's a pretty good amount of money. And I was pretty happy with that. There were probably definitely some weeks or, sorry, some months where I saved more money, just depending on what was going on and if I worked more or whatever. But I would say, depending on the amount of time I worked and whatever, that was probably pretty representative of what was going on. When I was staying in the dorms, my last semester in the dorms, when I didn't have to pay for rent or utilities or anything, and when my financial aid covered a lot of my house expenses and food and stuff, I was probably saving the majority of that, which was really nice. I was able to save up pretty fast kind of doing it this way. But I hope this helped you guys. I'm sorry that this is not like probably pretty representative of like an adult who has like a family or has a mortgage and more bills and stuff. But I just thought like I'd show you guys what I experienced with this type of income. If you guys have any other recommendations for like a mock budget, if you want to see a certain dollar amount that, you know, that you make or whatever and how I would use it, let me know down below. I'm always willing to take suggestions. And I always love doing mock budgets and seeing like, okay, if this, then how much would I save? If I add this in, how much would I save? If I make this much, how much would I save? So it's really fun to work on those and try those out. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.